Hey guys, my name's Holly. If this is your first time catching one of my videos, this is not my normal content that I've been doing. So if you're looking for Erin Condren planner related material, this is not a video for you. But if you're interested a little bit more in my life and what's going on in it right now, you can certainly hang out and watch with me and kind of share in this journey with me as well. So I am status post gastric lap band surgery, about 6 years and 4 months out. So I had the lap band placed in June of 2012 and did very well with it. My starting weight was about 260, 261, somewhere in there. The lowest weight that I got down to about a year out of surgery was about 154, 155. Did really well with that for quite a while. I would say within the last few years I have regained some weight. Highest weight I got up to again with my band was about 221. Kind of got fed up with that and needed to reset, get back on track, try some lifestyle changes again, follow my rules, and I am now sitting at, I think when I weighed myself this morning I was at 196. So still up, 40 some pounds from my lowest, but down, 60 plus pounds from my highest weight. So started having some weird symptoms going on. I think it happened so gradually that I can't really even pinpoint when some of these symptoms started. So I would say, just reflecting back, at least several months ago I started having some strange symptoms. So those symptoms have kind of started off more mild maybe and kind of gotten more aggressive up until where we are today. So some of the symptoms that I was having were abdominal pain, lower abdominal pain more so. I'm just going to stand up here a minute and kind of show you where that pain was, or is. I still have it. So that pain is like down in this area of my stomach, okay? It's kind of always there. I can touch my stomach there and I can feel that it's tender and painful. So kind of would get worse at night when I was laying down. I would notice it more and it would bother me. Also having just kind of being gassy, bloated, burpy, just, random bouts of nausea. Not like even right after I ate, like it was just like randomly just not feeling good, just like a general malaise feeling. Just nothing I could pinpoint, just not feeling good. So that went on for, at least several months before I'm like, okay, what's going on? Like something's going on. And so the symptoms kind of started out more, just gassy, maybe periodically just not feeling good, just things you could attribute to other things, just not feeling good. And then, I would say like that lower abdominal pain is something that's more recent that started. And then just feeling like really full in my tummy, like lower tummy. So I had went in for my annual physical in August, kind of mentioned to my doctor, I'm having these weird symptoms. I'm having kind of some of this pain down in my lower abdomen. I'm kind of feeling bloated and gassy. Okay, well, just go ahead and start doing a few days of Miralax and see if that helps. You could have some stool backed up and maybe that's making you not feel good. So, okay, tried that. Nothing happened. I was having regular bowel movements, nothing out of the ordinary. I wasn't having trouble going to the bathroom. So, nothing changed when I took the Miralax. It was fine. I mean, I wasn't having like loose stools from the Miralax. It was just normal stools. So that didn't do anything. So fast forward a couple weeks, went back to my primary care to have a Mirena placed. So had that put in. She did the pelvic exam before the insertion, and she asked me, well, is your bladder really full? And I'm like, no, it's not. They had to do a pregnancy test beforehand, and so I'm like, I just emptied my bladder. I don't have a full bladder, but I said, like I told you at my physical, that, I've been having this tummy pain, I've been feeling really bloated. Well, she kind of blew it off, didn't really say anything about it in that appointment. So then, with the joys of technology, we can portal our doctors. So I started portaling in, and I'm like, okay, I have been having this stomach pain, having this bloating, having this gas. I've now, tried the Miralax, I've tried a probiotic, I've tried anti-gas. Nothing is working. I don't feel good. Something's not right. And during this whole time that I haven't been feeling good, I'm looking up symptoms. I'm like, do I have ovarian cancer? Like, I don't know what's going on. I have just all of this general not feeling good and bloating, and, these are kind of some of those symptoms too. And so I'm portaling in, asking her, what should I do? I've tried all this stuff. Well, then the nurse finally, after like 24 hours of portaling back and forth, the nurse finally messages me back and says, well, how about we, she's willing to do like an x-ray of your tummy. And I'm like, okay, well, will that visualize everything? Will that like get my ovaries? Will it get my uterus? Like, what is that going to look at? Well, no, it's just going to look at your bowels, make sure that you're not backed up or have excessive gas in there. And I'm like, okay, whatever, at least we're doing something at this point. So I tell her, yeah, let's do it. I want to go ahead and do this. So I got in the next day in the clinic, had a flat panel x-ray done to my tummy, and it was a Friday, I think, and didn't hear anything back that day. Monday, got a portal message from her stating that the radiologist read my report, and it looks like I have a lot of gas buildup on the right side of my tummy and my colon, and stool in the right side. And then like down at the bottom, she randomly puts in there, oh, and he mentioned that it looks like your lap band might have slipped. Okay, so that maybe warranted a call. I don't know. That's kind of a serious complication of a lap band, is to possibly have a slip. And then I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm eating, I'm drinking, and I'm not having like reflux really. All of those classic symptoms that your band has slipped. I'm thinking, what's going on? That's strange. So I portal back, say, please get this to my surgeon who did my lap band surgery. Didn't hear back from him. So, you got to be an advocate for yourself, because no one else is going to be, I don't think. So I contact my surgeon's office right away, and, I call them and say, I need to leave a message for the nurse. I need to talk to a nurse. I just had an x-ray done, and they, let me know that the radiologist thinks my band has slipped. And I said, I'm eating, I'm drinking, I'm not throwing up. So I'm not throwing up anything. And, I'm not throwing up anything. And, I want him to take a look at this x-ray and see what he thinks. So I get a call back a little bit later and say, the nurse tells me, well, you're eating and drinking, that's good. The doctor looked at your x-ray. He thinks it looks like it's in the right place. But he does want to do an upper GI just to make sure everything's good. So, okay. So she schedules that later in the week. I'm trying to think. Was it later in the week or was it the next week? No, I think it was later in the week, possibly. All the days are kind of mixing together for me right now. So anyway, I get my appointment for my upper GI. And I go in to have it done, not really knowing what they're going to do. I know that you swallow barium, but didn't really know what to expect. So I get there. I'll go through kind of this whole process with you in case you've never had one done and maybe need to have one done, or just for in the future if you have to have one done. So you go in, you undress from the waist up basically. put on a gown, and then the radiologist comes in. They have this big like x-ray looking machine that is tilted up like this, and there's a platform like this for you to stand on, and then, you know, there's screens and stuff like all around you. And they first had me drink this really thick barium, like really thick. It's like thicker than pudding even. And so I would take a drink of that, and then you have to kind of like hold that off to the side and swallow it. And then he's taking, you know, like video images of this barium like going down, passing into your stomach through the band. You know, and during this process, he's saying, you know, oh, everything's passing through. You know, it looks like it's going through the band. So I'm thinking, okay, this is a good sign. You know, everything's going through. That's what I want to hear. So then he has me drink like these little crystal things that he puts in like a little cup, like just a tiny amount of these little crystals, and you put them in your mouth, and then you put like a little bit of water, and it kind of fizzes a little bit, which I was nervous about because you're not supposed to have carbonation with a lap band. So I do that, not knowing what's going to happen, and it just kind of like fizzles and bubbles and makes you feel like you have to burp. And so that goes down, and that must have like something that he can visualize on there too, that it must light up on the screen. And so he's like, oh, yep, that passed through, you know, everything's good. And, you know, he wasn't giving like any indication of anything else that he was seeing other than these things were passing down my esophagus, into my stomach, through my band. Okay, so then there's more. The table lays down, so you're standing on this platform and the table just like goes back, so you're laying down. And then, you know, all those screens and monitors and stuff kind of go back with you and around you. And so they have this thinner barium that I had to take, and that was in a cup that I could sip through a straw. And he had me drinking this on my back, on my side a little bit. I had to roll over on my stomach. He had me roll back over on my back and drink it. And, you know, as I'm laying there, he's like, yeah, your band has slipped. Okay, so, you know, we've been in this appointment now for how long together, and you're now telling me that my band has slipped. So he's like, yeah, you know, it's gonna have to, something's going to have to happen with it. You know, your surgeon's gonna have to do something. And so, you know, they tilt me back up. I get up. He kind of talks to me and says, you know, yeah, your band has slipped, you know, and I kind of looked at the screen and I could see like my stomach, and I could see my band, and I could see there was a whole bunch of stomach up on top of the band. So instead of having like that little pouch up on top of there, it was like half my stomach was on top of the band. So the band's like in the middle of my stomach at this point. That was that. Good news, right? And he told me, you know, I'll have my report done within the hour. I'll get it over to your doctor. And then, you know, if you haven't heard from them, like in the afternoon, go ahead and give them a call and find out what your next step is, basically. So, got dressed, went back to work, didn't hear anything from my surgeon's office for quite a while. You know, my upper GI was in the morning, like at 9:30, so I waited until about 3:30 in the afternoon, and at that point I called my surgeon's office and left a message with the receptionist and said, you know, I had an upper GI this morning that my doctor ordered, and when I talked to the radiologist, he said that my band had slipped. And so, again, telling them I can eat and drink, I'm fine, it's not an emergency at this moment, but, you know, I want to know, like, what do I do from here? What are my next steps? Can someone give me a call? So about a half hour later, his nurse gave me a call and said, you know, the good news is you can eat and drink. Yay. Bad news is it's going to be surgical. So that's kind of where I am right now. I don't have any other information other than that at this moment. Don't know what his plan is going to be. I don't know. I initially thought maybe he would have me come in and take the fluid out and see if my band would slip back into place. But after I saw the pictures myself, I don't believe, in my uneducated opinion, looking at that picture on the monitor, that this is a mild slip. I think it's a little more severe than that. I don't think that this is just kind of shifted out of place a little bit, that you can let the fluid out and, you know, it's gonna like reposition itself. I don't personally see that happening at this point. So yeah, my upper GI must have been on Thursday. So, you know, they called me back and they're like, we need to get you in for a consult with your surgeon so that he can talk to you about this and discuss like what your options are. So my appointment is on Tuesday. Today is Sunday. A little nervous about it, definitely. Concerned that, you know, he's leaving the fluid in it, maybe for the fact that if he took the fluid out, it could shift and create a blockage, so I couldn't eat or drink. So that's going through my mind, that's why he's leaving the fluid in it right now, to prevent it from moving instead of trying to get it to move. So that is, I guess that's where we are. So, you know, of course you start thinking, what are my options with, you know, before talking to my surgeon, I'm going through all the scenarios in my mind, trying to prepare myself for what he might tell me on Tuesday. You know, is my option to take it out and do nothing? Okay, well, I know if that happens, I'm going to be 260 pounds again. So that's not really an option that I want to go with. And so then I think, okay, well, I wonder, will he go in and do like a revision of my band? Will he recommend that? And I don't even know if that's possible with where my band is on my stomach. Can you even go in and reposition that same band? Or would the band have to be removed and then have a new band put in? And then thinking, okay, is this the best option for me? You know, if he gives me this option, is this something that I'm willing to consider? Because I've had my lap band for 6 years and I have a slippage and I'm 38 years old. So, you know, looking at what do my next 40 years look like? If I have a slip that requires surgery after 6 years, what's going to happen the next 40 years of my life? So that's something that I'm weighing out in my mind and thinking that that's probably not an option for me. Do I want to take another chance with another band and possibly be having surgery in another, you know, 3 years, 4 years, 6 years, 10 years, 20 years? Do I want to have to go through that again and make other decisions when I'm older and undergo other surgical procedures when I'm older? I don't know that that's something that I want to consider either. So doing research online, I know that they can take your band out and do a revision into either a gastric bypass or a gastric sleeve. And then looking at what that looks like, what is that? I didn't really research those options a whole lot when I had my lap band, because I liked that we were putting a device in my stomach. It wasn't changing my anatomy in any way. It wasn't going to cause huge nutritional deficiencies in my body that could cause other problems. And so now going from having this and being successful with it and doing well with it to, okay, now I need to switch focus to doing a different surgery and having different, you know, relearning, you know, the whole thing, you know, having surgery again, going through recovery, starting out on liquids again, going to soft food again. All of those things are going through my mind. Like, I thought I was through that point, and so now I'm looking at going through that point again, and, you know, looking and doing research and watching other people's YouTube videos of people who have had revisions, and, you know, seeing the horror stories that people have went through and the problems that they've had. And I'm sure those are very rare, and, you know, people talk the loudest when they have problems versus people who have successes. The people who are having successful things aren't doing YouTube videos about it as frequently. Hence why I'm here. I haven't talked about this on YouTube until I now have a problem. So I don't want to scare anyone. I mean, I've done research and it looks like, you know, 1 to 3% of people who have a lap band have a slip. So I'm just one of those people that had a slip. So yeah, just looking at all those other surgical options and then wondering, well, what's my insurance going to pay for? I have different insurance than I had when I originally had my lap band placed. Luckily, it's the same insurance company, but it's still a different company that's providing that insurance plan, and every place has a different plan as far as what they cover and what they don't cover and what they're willing to do. So, you know, is my insurance company going to cover a revision? Certainly, they'll likely cover removal of my lap band because I'm having a complication. It's got to come out or something's got to change. But are they going to cover that revision to a different weight loss surgery? So those are all things going through my mind right now. And it's scary. It's a scary thing. Not knowing. The unknown. The unknown's always scary no matter what it is. So inform myself, gather some information, so on Tuesday when I go in, I at least have a little bit in my mind and what I'm leaning towards and what I'm willing to do, what I'm not willing to do. And, you know, I need to do a little bit of research and see if I can find out, like, from my insurance company if they cover revisions. I know there's a lot of those tools online, so just looking into that and seeing, you know, what my options are, maybe from an insurance standpoint too. There's Addie. She's coming in to see what I'm talking about. That's Miss Adeline the sheepdog. She's such a lover. She doesn't like being separated from me, and I had the door closed a little bit. How cute is that? So I guess, you know, that's just where I am sitting right now. I'm just in that in-between unknown state and nervous to eat. Granted, this could have been like this for months in my stomach, but now I'm nervous to eat things. I've moved myself pretty much to a soft diet just to, you know, hopefully avoid anything happening until I can see my doctor and find out, like, what I should and shouldn't be doing. They didn't give me those recommendations, but I feel more comfortable doing that. Having yogurt, oatmeal, drinking some tea to kind of calm things down, and just, you know, taking it easy, basically. Taking it easy with the food. Just precautionary. So, I guess I also want to talk just a little bit about, so just wanting to talk a little bit about what can cause a slip in the lap band. So, from what I've read, mainly slips occur from excessive throwing up. That's like one of the major causes of it, I would say. And that's not me. I've really had minimal side effects from my lap band. I mean, have I PB'd or productive burped, you know, had saliva come up? Yeah, I mean, I don't know anyone who has had a lap band for 6 years and never had that happen. And it's part of having the lap band. If you eat too much, eat too fast, eat something that doesn't agree with your band and it gets stuck in there and you can't get it to pass through, it's going to come back up. How often has that happened to me? Not very often. I mean, maybe 2-3 times a year that happens. So I don't think that is me. I don't think that that's what caused it, or if it did, it was slow over time that my lap band slipped from that. Another reason that I've seen that could be a cause of a slippage is maybe like drinking carbonated beverages. I haven't had carbonated beverage since I had surgery 6 years ago, so that is not something that would have caused it either. So I'm kind of at a loss for what may have caused my slip. I just, you know, I've been really careful with it. I've taken care of myself. I chew my food well. And so I'm at a loss for what would have caused this. I don't feel like I've been horribly uncompliant with my band to the point that would have caused a slip. I know other people who have lap bands who have been way uncompliant with it, throwing up multiple times a week and not having problems with it. And, you know, here I am over here, hey, following rules. And yeah, that's the luck of my draw. So I guess I don't know. It is what it is at this point. I have a slip. I'm gonna need surgery. The rest of the details, don't know. So I guess I will find out more on Tuesday when I meet with my surgeon in the afternoon and see what he says, what he recommends, what he thinks we should do. And, you know, then that process of dealing with my insurance company and how quickly that will work, being that I have a complication. You know, the original process for bariatric surgery of any kind can be lengthy and drawn out, as everyone knows. It can take, I know when I did mine, it was a 6-month process from starting and looking into it to actually having surgery done. Well, I don't think that's an option when you have a slip, so I'm hoping that we can submit information to insurance and they take that seriously and, you know, approve what they're going to approve and move forward from there. So this is not something that anyone wants, and I just wanted to do this video because I know there's a lot of people that are still looking into bariatric surgery. And so if you're looking into the lap band, this is something that can happen. It is a side effect. It is a complication that can happen. Is it common? I don't know. I don't think it's that common. It may be more common now than maybe they realized 6 years ago when they put my band in. Those are all questions that I have for my surgeon, definitely, and that he can answer those questions. So I'm hoping after my appointment on Tuesday that I can come back and update everyone and, you know, come back with some of those answers of what my surgeon's opinion is and what he thinks we should do moving forward. So my plan is to continue these videos because I'm hoping that if it helps anyone, or you know, someone else is going through this similar thing, maybe we can connect with each other and kind of compare situations, keep up with each other, support each other. I'm hoping for a supportive environment here. So any information that anyone has, definitely comment below. I'm willing to listen to anything. So have a good day. I'll update you later this week, and I'll see you next time. Bye.